What if I told you that why everybody is watching Bitcoin struggle with market pressure, and everybody is looking at all coin falling out sideways, and nobody is paying attention of what PULSECHAIN is quietly building. Currently, now PULSECHAIN is currently building a micro shock that is going to shock everybody, and nobody is paying attention. Markets feel so bad right now, low liquidity, side actions, fear have gripped in back. Okay, we are in bear market. You don't need anybody to tell you that anymore. But historically, this is where the biggest move always born. I remember 2022 bear market. Most altcoins have already gone to that legion again. All right. Now let me break it down. What is happening in crypto? The macro situation and why PULSECHAIN and PULSE and HEX might be closer to breakout than people think. If you stay in and watch this video to the end, because I'm going to explain everything that is going to happen and everything that is happening around the world and why we are here now. All right, and where we are here now, this could be the catalyst that we need to break out in order to break out. So right now, there are three big micro forces that are shaping the market. You have to understand. Number one of them is Federal Reserve policy. So the Federal Reserve is still being cautious about cutting rates. You see that the job market is getting stronger. US added more job in January than expected. The expected initial job expected was about 50,000 jobs, but they went on and added about 130,000 or 150 thereabouts. So where there is a high adding job, the Federal Reserve always stay cautious about cutting rate. That means a strong economy doesn't require a cutting interest rate. That's why you see when the news break out about the job added last month, the market still dump because it's not good for crypto. All right. So if you understand that higher range of rates and tight liquidity is also very sensitive to crypto, because risky assets, when there's no ability to to borrow money at a lower rate, you cannot afford to go and borrow money at 20%, 10% higher rate and go and buy risky assets. But imagine that they loan you money at 1% and they give you $1 million at 1% interest rate. You can put it on Bitcoin and the next day you pay back your loan. You see, that is what you have to pay attention to. All right. So when liquidity expanded, crypto intends to explode. We saw that in 2021, and we are going to see that again. It's going to happen again. And when liquidity is not expanded, when liquidity become tightened like this now, markets still go quiet. As you can see, we are now at a bottom stage. Nobody cares about Bitcoin. It's 6,000. If you zoom out, last 3-4 months ago, it was 100,000. Everybody was buying, hyping. Now everything is down for the 3 consecutive months. It's still down. That is telling you that people are accumulating. If you're not buying Bitcoin at this level, in the next couple of months, you are going to regret it. But let me dive deep to the bullish angle. You have to understand that markets always move before the late cut. That's where people don't understand. That markets always move before the late even cut. So you have to bear that in mind, that if you are thinking, oh, I have to wait more, maybe it's going to dump, people are accumulating now. All right? So the big move always comes before the late cut. If inflation data cools further and the late cuts become clear, liquidity expectation, and that alone can even ignite risky assets, including altcoin, to explode. So you have to be cautious that you have to accumulate here. So anything you are buying at this legion, Ethereum at 1,900, Bitcoin at 66,000, and BNB at almost 590, getting to 500 legion again, you are getting a good deal. And you see Solana sitting at $78, and you go back to PULSECHAIN sitting at 1 cent. That is amusing cheap. You see PULSE sitting at 1.16. That is the cheapest you can ever get. You're not going to see this kind of thing in the next year. I want you to understand it. That next year you are not seeing this kind of a thing. You have to bear that in mind. It's very important that you bear it in mind. So all these things that you have to understand. And now let's go back to Bitcoin ETF. If you look at Bitcoin ETF, what is going on with Bitcoin ETF? What have changed? You have to understand. Pay attention. In Bitcoin, when you come to Bitcoin ETF, if you see the data, you see that institutional money have not changed the game. So institutional money have now changed the game. So ETF have slowed down, markets cool, all right? Markets have already cooled down. And ETF inflow, if we have ETF inflow, markets always pump. But right now, recently, if you look at the data, you will see that inflow have already stabilized. There are not too much people coming into the market, all right? And there are not too many people. There are not too many outflow on Bitcoin ETF. So that tells you that institutional investors, they are not existing. They are positioning. All right. They are not, selling awfully. But you have to understand that what thing that people miss again on Bitcoin is ETF was approved when Bitcoin was 66,000. So average entry of all this big institutional money was 70,000 K. So when these big institutional investors, ETF investors, when they actually get access to Bitcoin, it's at price of $60,000. That is when they put billions, 20 billion, 10 billion. That is when all this ETF, all these people offer it at the price range of $70,000. Because remember, the last bear market, Bitcoin went to 15,000, and when Bitcoin was getting to 50, 60, 70,000, Bitcoin ETF was approved again, and that is when the market moved to 100 and 126,000. So this tells you that big institutional investors are accumulating Bitcoin at this level now. So this is not a total collapse of ETF inflow. This tells you that Bitcoin is being stabilized, and after microscales and altcoin began to location, you will see a higher 200,000 Bitcoin. So now another thing that you need to understand is global liquidity. Right now, China is discussing about simulating the economy, and US election is still uncertainty. And geopolitical tension, Iran and US is still piling up. They have not reached any agreement yet. They might go to war, they might have a deal. So all this is contributing to all these risky assets being on uncertainty point of phase now. If you look at dollar is dumping, gold is dumping, and what again? Bitcoin is dumping, altcoin is dumping, stock market is dumping, and you ask yourself, where is all this money going to? It's global uncertainty. So all these have contributed to what is happening in our market today. So all this thing you are seeing now is creating volatility, but they also increase the possibility of money and easing over the time. You have to understand it. And when easing, when we started seeing easing our monetary policy, when we started seeing liquidity coming back, what you are going to see is stock markets intend to start rising again, and crypto start to, altcoin will pump faster than you think. You have to understand that. So three of these things that I mentioned now is what is affecting us. Number one is the Federal Reserve, and the number two is Bitcoin ETF flow, and number three is global liquidity is an issue. So these are the three major events that is keeping us down here. Now let's talk about the current market sentiment now that we are in. What are the sentiment like? I have seen this pattern. Remember, I have been here for more than 8 years. So I have seen bear market, I have seen bull market. I know what to do. That is why I'm here. That is why I'm telling you what to buy and what not to buy. All right. So right now, if you want to buy something, you need to buy Ethereum. Ethereum can go to $8,000, $7,000, and $6,000. You need to buy PULSECHAIN. You need to buy X. You need to buy ProofX. You need to buy PulseS. So all these tokens that I mentioned, they have the 100% potential to survive, and they are going to come back. So right now, the sentiment feel tired, impatient, and doubtful. People have begun to doubt. People have begun to be impatient. They want price now, and everybody wants to get rich now. we have wasted 5 years for nothing. I'm telling you, I have wasted 5 years of my life. But I am grateful that I wasted it, because it give me more knowledge. It's give like I gain more knowledge, far knowledge that I ever acquired in school. All right, all the days of my life in school, all the years I spent in school, the knowledge I have about money and investment and understanding that I have now, I wouldn't have it if this market did not teach me this lesson in this past 5 years. So I wouldn't say that it's a lost 5 years, but I'm telling you that currently now how everybody feel in the market is tired, impatient, and doubtful, because this is 5 years of constantly bear market. Nobody sold, nobody make a damn, and here we are again in bear market again, no money, everything is suck. All right. So this is not a hopeful phase. This is not a hype phase where everybody become hype. This is a circle of early cycle behavior where people reposition themselves, knowledge win, people who understand the knowledge, who understand what to buy, which crypto am I going to buy. That is the important thing. It's not about seeing bear market. You can see 1,000 bear market and you are holding a meme coin and you still get poor. So this is where you watch people like me and we give you guideline and you position yourself. This is the phase we are in now. So the biggest gain never made when everybody is confident. So when I'm shouting on top of my voice, start singing, oh, pushing. That is when you are supposed to be existing the market. Remember when pushing was 0.5 cents, getting to almost sacrifice phase, I was making song. I was excited. I took some profit. That was the best time for you to exit the market. So the biggest gain always meant when people are bored. That is when you make all the whole gain. Now let us zoom into PULSECHAIN ecosystem and let's talk about PULSECHAIN. I have told you what is going on our finance and what is making us to be here and how you are going to prepare. So looking at PULSECHAIN is consolidating for months now, for 3 months since they announced the sacrifice of Provers, and as you can see, Provers is now up and running. We are still in a beta test net. It's not official. It have not go live official, but you can play with it here. All right. So when they announced the sacrifice of Provers, PULSECHAIN started consolidating for 3 consecutive months now, and it have been going down. So what does consolidation usually means is accumulation phase. I started buying PULSECHAIN at 3. I'm down almost 3x from my buy pleasure, from my buying price. And what did I do? I continued to buy $500, $200. I continued to accumulate. I continued to accumulate so that when it started moving up, that is how I continued to take profit. So what does that what does that tell you? You need to start accumulation. This is where the weak hand leave the project, and this is where the stronger hand absorb the supply. Just like me, I am buying, and I know like you also, you are also buying. All right. So if Bitcoin peaks higher price and liquidity expansion improve, and we see Ethereum at 4,000, 3,000, 6,000, PULSECHAIN can go to sacrifice phase very easy. So PULSECHAIN doesn't need a massive capital to move. That is something that you need to understand. You just need a momentum, and once a momentum start to come, even a smaller momentum ecosystem will move. It will become violent in this ecosystem, because right now a massive people have been buying. People are buying and just waiting for just a relief. Just tell them to move to 2,005 or 5,000. You will see what will happen on PULSECHAIN. And if you go to PULSECHAIN have been doing amazing well. DEX token historically they're always outperforming. They're always the one that outperform the in the ecosystem, because the growth phase, if PULSECHAIN is that the activities increase, swamp and liquidity and farming, and PULSECHAIN start all these things again, PULSECHAIN benefit more. So right now the price is doing as if nothing is happening, and is doing like, okay, it's not moving anywhere. But you have to understand that it have buy and burn mechanism, and it have been doing very fantastically amazing very well. Again, Hex is doing amazing very well. It's holding strong. All right. If you look at Hex, Hex is one of those tokens that I'm telling you that can easily, very easy. It's very easy for Hex to even go to, what did I call it? Very easy for Hex to go to even 5 cents. Very easy. If Hex just need, should I say, how many million buy pleasure? If we go to this thing is bad now. It's not working. Okay, I want to go to piping before. Hex just need 1 million buy pleasure, 10 million buy pleasure to go to 5 cents. And you are telling me that Richard Hart have about $600 and something million will not buy it to take it to 5 cents. So if you are holding a 1 million Hex, 2 million Hex, I can see you making $500,000 to, you are going to make a lot of money. So historically, you have to understand that Hex is not delivering by statement or wave. Hex is the one that it reward the patient. It take money from the impatient and pay the patient. So you stake your Hex, you just wait, and that is it. So, and ProVerse is coming. You have to understand that ProVerse is coming. So the whole ecosystem is setting up and people are not paying attention. People are looking at, oh, Bitcoin, oh, Trump, oh, ICE. This is a distraction. This is just a distraction for you to understand what you are doing. You have to accumulate PULSECHAIN. All right? So this is why this phase is very important. And let me explain, let me break it down. This phase is important more than everything. I am telling you that this phase we are in now is where people become rich. It's where people become a millionaire. It's where people gain their financial freedom if you play your game very well. Let me say something clearly. Bull market doesn't start when fireworks started, They started when people become bored, when people become doubt, when doubt is full of the market. When people say, oh, we have wasted years. And if you look at it through, it looks like we have wasted years. That is when bullion come back. So if you look at now, we have low engagement, low volatility, low excitement. Then one catalyst hit. It could be a clear late cut timeline or a major Bitcoin ETF inflow that spiked the price, or Bitcoin breakout major resistance, or unexpected liquidity injection. Any small ecosystem, any small thing that can come into the ecosystem, everything will move faster than you think. So there are things that you need to pay attention to. So I have to be very honest with you. I'm not a financial advice. I'm not hyping it, but I'm just telling you something you must be on. And this is a still micro-dependent market, whether you like it or not. We are driven by liquidity. Once liquidity come back, our market move. Once there is no liquidity, our market don't move. If inflation spike up again, no move. If liquidity tighten up more, no move. Crypto could be still strong, but we are still in the early stage of crypto. But if micro global liquidity soften even slightly, we can see a pump, a major breaking resistance, and all coin will react immediately because they have been supplies for a very long time, and PULSECHAIN ecosystem is still very tiny, very small, and it will move aggressively. That's something you must be understanding. And now you have to start strategically positioning yourself and positioning your mindset. Instead of asking, why haven't we pump? Instead of asking, oh, why haven't you pump? Richard Hart is a failure. Oh, look at Richard Hart, a very fat man. What you should be doing now is ask, am I positioning very well? Did I have a very big bag that can retire me? That should be your question. Yes, don't hold 1 million Hex or you hold 1 million PULSECHAIN and say, oh, Richard Hart, 1,000 S, go to cent. No. Like now, you need to start accumulating aggressively. Very, very aggressively. Ask yourself, am I holding a very good position that can retire me in the next phase? If PULSECHAIN goes to sacrifice phase, am I good enough to go? If I see 10x from here, is it going to retire me? These are the questions you need to be asking yourself at this time. I make that mistake in 2022. Instead of accumulating, I was busy chasing, trading, and I couldn't get in on anything. Instead of accumulating and waiting patiently, I was busy trading. So you need to position yourself before the shift happen. And most people buy the strength. Only few people buy at accumulation phase. Only few people. If you are being honest, few of you who are watching me have not even made a single buy for the last 4 months. But if PULSECHAIN start moving again, you will see, you will start buying. FOMO will kick in again. Now let me leave you with this. This is my final message. I'm not a financial advisor for disclaimer, but I'm just giving you a hint. All right. Right now we are in a patient market. What matters now is positioning. That is what matters now. And the phase we are in now is a silent accumulation phase, whereby you buy every paycheck you receive, you buy the one that you can afford to buy, you keep it yourself. And historically, this silent phase is what creates the loudest outcome of gain. And our PULSECHAIN is not dead. It have dominated the market, all right? And it's going to still be here for a very long time. So if you believe that you are here for a very long time and you are not here to trade emotionally, all you have to do is just hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, and please share this message to everybody to get to Leo PULSECHAIN and Hess and PULSE and Prove holders. All right, please share it. I'm begging you guys. I need to hit to 15,000 subscribers. We need to achieve this goal together before December. This is our goal. All right, and if you are still accumulating, I want you to comment, I am positioning myself. I want you to write it in comment section. If you are accumulating at this level, doing this silent accumulation phase, write it here, I am accumulating. And if you want more Michael aware of PULSECHAIN content with zero hype and full of conviction, you need to subscribe to my channel now. We are building 15,000 strong believers and we are getting started. All right, so you have to be aware of what is going on in the market. Thank you for watching, and I will see you